Hello and welcome back to the Sober Scoop. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. It is beautiful here in Seattle. It is crispy fall weather, getting chilly for sure, but still sunny for the most part, which is nice. So I hope you're enjoying your fall and adjusting okay to the daylight savings. I feel like that needs to be a whole separate episode, but like when you're new to sobriety and the days start ending at 4 p.m., at least that's the case here in the Pacific Northwest. Like it's getting dark at 5 o'clock and that number is going to get, earlier and earlier as we get deeper into winter. But anyways, like the evenings are a very hard time for drinkers who are now sober, I should say, sober people. And then with the evening starting earlier in the day, it's difficult for sure. So yeah, I'm going to write that down and make an episode about that. But today's episode is about my 500 days of sobriety, and I'm going to share 5 things that I've learned in those 500 days. So, woohoo! Just wanted to start by saying I'm very proud to have reached 500 days. It's interesting that after you pass a year of sobriety, nothing feels worth celebrating. I'm just being honest. And of course, every day in sobriety is worth celebrating. Every day sober is a win for sure. But after a year, it's like, okay, you did what you were supposed to do. And it's like, now you just live a sober life. So, quit talking about it type of thing. At least that's the kind of energy that I feel. But 500 is a big milestone. I feel like 2 years is going to be a big milestone. I feel like 1,000 days is going to be a big milestone. So there are still some milestones. And like I said, celebrate whatever the heck you want. I still celebrate every additional month that I'm sober. So like next will be 17 months sober, and that's going to be exciting. So I think like just looking at those little wins is important in your sober journey. Just my opinion. Some people think don't bother counting the days and just live your sober life like it's not that big a deal, and looking at it casually helps them. I know people like that. But for me, I still feel like I'm doing something different than most people are. Everyone around me, all my friends and family, they all drink. And so it still feels like I've accomplished something to be sober. And so I'm going to go ahead and celebrate it. And that is that. But yes, in today's episode, I'm sharing 5 things that I've learned in my 500 days of sobriety. Like the top 5 things that stick out in my mind where I'm like, yeah, those are my 5 big takeaways, things that I've noticed about society in my 500 days. So let's get right into today's episode. Welcome to the Sober Scoop. This is a judgment-free zone where we talk about how to get sober and stay sober. You're not alone. I hope you feel seen. Quitting alcohol is the best decision I've ever made. Okay, first up, batter up, we have the people that don't understand your sobriety probably have a drinking problem themselves, so don't let them affect you. Let's break this down. Sometimes people are not encouraging or not like supportive when I tell them that I don't drink. Instead, I'm met with judgment, like a weird reaction. They don't really understand why I would be sober. I think they look at me too and think, you don't look like you have an alcohol problem, so you must just be doing it for health reasons, and that's annoying. So, that gives them an icky reaction. I don't know. But usually it's not people that I know and love, obviously. Those people are so supportive of me and have been since day one of my sobriety. But it's mostly like random people that I'll meet out, I guess. And it's usually older guys, like, dad age men who still very much drink. And sometimes I'll be met with, just an icky reaction, like not a woohoo, good for you, but kind of like an okay, and I can see it in their face, even if they say, oh, good for you. I can see it in their face that they like don't understand, don't approve, or are just like shocked, I guess, confused why somebody would choose to do that with their life. And I used to be like, oh, that's annoying because I used to relate to those people. Like, the older men alcoholics in our society used to be my BFFs as somebody who had a drinking problem myself and could down as many beers as them. I'm a young, decent looking female and going drink for drink with these older guys who can just down beers like it's water. And now I'm, a prude in their eyes. In their eyes, emphasis on that, because obviously, no, I'm not. We are so confident in our sobriety, right, guys? But yeah, I think a lot of times people assume that a gal my age, a female, first of all, and a female my age cannot have a drinking problem, right? Like, you've only lived so much life. How could you have had a drinking problem? And what, you probably drank like, okay, 5 beers a day, like, okay, drinking problem, right? It's like they have no idea. And I don't need to be the one to tell them that and like prove that I did have a drinking problem. That happens in my comments, by the way, on social media all the time, as people are like, you probably didn't even have a drinking problem. You're not a real alcoholic. I'm like, what? I am not going to sit here and prove to somebody that I had a drinking problem. Like, waste of energy. You don't have to believe me if you don't want to. I literally don't care. But yeah, the shaming in sobriety for not having as bad of a problem as they do or something, it's so weird and so backwards. Like, in sobriety, we're all on the same team. Okay? We don't need to shame other people for not being as bad as you are or something. Such weird energy. So anyway, I sometimes think that people look at me and they think, like, she couldn't have had a drinking problem, so she must be one of those people that just doesn't drink for health reasons and like to be healthy because alcohol is bad for you, or because she's slim and wants to maintain a slim figure. Like, okay, whatever. And first of all, those people shouldn't be shamed either. Alcohol is bad for you. Alcohol does make you gain weight. Alcohol causes cancer. To be frank, sorry to bring up the big C, but like, alcohol is a proven carcinogen. Oh my God, I can never pronounce that word. Carcinogen. No, carcinogen. There we go. I had to look it up online. Alcohol is a carcinogen. It is proven to cause many different types of cancer. So if you don't drink because you're like, I would like to lower my risks of getting cancer, good for you. You don't have to have had an alcohol problem to not drink alcohol. But anyway, I do assume that these people look at me and think I'm just one of those people and I'm a prude and okay. But you have to just not care. Like, I am so passionate about sobriety. Obviously, as you guys know, I have a podcast all about it. I have a TikTok all about it. I do this. I share my journey because I love to share it. I love to help other people because it's changed my life in so many ways. And if I can help change somebody else's life, that is a win. Somebody else online posted a video that changed my life. So I feel like this is me paying it forward and hopefully helping change somebody else's life. So anyway, I'm passionate about my sobriety. There's nothing that I'm self-conscious about, especially this far into my sobriety. So when people react in that way, I'm like, okay, whatever. Tells me a lot about that person. And in most cases, it is somebody with a drinking problem who is being judgmental of your sobriety. Nobody who has a healthy relationship with alcohol is going to judge you for quitting drinking. Let me tell you that right now. It's only the people who have a problem themselves who are confused or, disapprove of your decision to get sober, or who are like judgy about the fact that you don't drink. It's only people who struggle themselves. So do not take it to heart. And I'm telling you this, like, if you recently got sober, because in the beginning you obviously have to tell a lot more people that you don't drink, whereas at 500 days, it's like most people know that I don't drink. But if you are early on in your sobriety and you're telling a lot of people, and some people, maybe it's your friends, maybe it's your family, maybe it's random people that you meet, if they are greeting the news with an icky reaction, then literally do not look inward at all. Do not let that affect you or second guess your sobriety. They are projecting their own issues onto you. You're an easy target for them to project their alcohol problem, essentially. So don't second guess yourself. Just know that they are struggling on their end, and you good, baby. Number 2, if you want to, emphasis on if you want to, you can do everything that you used to do as a drinker as a sober person. Now, some people get sober and completely change their lives. I mean, I feel like my life has totally changed, but for example, I still go out to bars, I still go out dancing. It's not like my favorite activity to do anymore, but I'll do it. Like for somebody's birthday, or if I randomly feel like dressing up cute and going out somewhere. I still go to the Halloween parties. I go to, the weddings and celebrations and, an Irish pub on St. Patrick's Day, things like that. I still do these things that are so surrounded around drinking culture. I still attend them. I'm not, I don't avoid them. But if you do avoid them, that's okay too. So I just want to emphasize that. You don't have to do all the same things that you used to do as a drinker. In fact, if you're not going out to bars and stuff, you're probably discovering actual hobbies that you're interested in. So good for you. So you do not have to be the same person that you were as a drinker, and you don't have to do the same things or go to the same places. So just want to get that out of the way. But for me, and this might be a hot take, for me, in the beginning of sobriety, I thought I'm already changing this huge thing about myself. I'm making a big change in my life by quitting drinking. So I didn't want to also change everything else. I didn't want to also have to skip the Halloween parties and the St. Patrick's Day parties. I didn't want to also miss Friday nights going out with my family or something like that. Or not go out to that restaurant because I know everybody's going to be getting margaritas or whatever. I already thought that quitting alcohol was such a big change. I didn't want to also change my life and my behaviors. And so especially in the beginning, I continued going out. Okay, not 5 nights a week sitting at the local pub drinking alone like I used to. But if the opportunity it's like I wasn't outwardly seeking it myself, but if the opportunity presented itself, I wouldn't say no, because I didn't want to miss out on things because I was newly sober. And I would just order non-alcoholic beers or a Diet Coke or a soda water with lime, and I would go out and do all the same things because I just wanted to be seen and treated like a regular person who just happens to not drink. I didn't want to be ostracized and be, this plague, Indy's sober, so she can't come and do anything with us. I still wanted to be invited. I wanted to be part of the fun. So I still participated in everything. So I just want to say that whichever camp you're in, if you want to keep your life the same and still go out and still say yes when you're invited to things, that's fine. And if you don't want to get anywhere near alcohol because it's too tempting for you, that's fine too. Either way is so fine. And I actually think there's really healthy aspects to both of those. Being around alcohol in early sobriety is not necessarily a good move for a lot of people. But completely uprooting your life and changing everything is also not a good move for some people. So both ways are healthy. But what I'm trying to say here is that you can do anything sober that you used to do as a drinker. So if you are sad that I'm getting sober, what am I going to do on Halloween? Or, I'm getting sober, what am I going to do for Mardi Gras? I go to New Orleans every year. What am I going to do this year now that I'm sober? Oh, my best friend's getting married this year. I don't want to have to face her wedding as a sober person. Whatever it is in life, you can do it sober. And I talk about this a lot, but one of my biggest tips for early sobriety is to identify as a non-drinker. So you just have to start going through life as somebody who doesn't drink. You're not trying to quit drinking. You're not trying to avoid alcohol. You don't drink. You are not somebody who drinks. And the sooner you can just start going through life and facing your life as a sober person, the better. Like, there's always going to be things that come up, so you may as well just learn to adjust to those as a sober person and start living life as a sober person, because life is still going to go on. That best friend is going to get married. Your brother's going to host a Halloween party. Like, I don't know, whatever. The Mardi Gras show is still going to go on. There are just things in life that you may have to attend that are rooted in drinking culture, but you identify as a sober person, so you just go as a sober person, and you just have to face it. You have to learn strategies. You find NA drinks that you love. You learn certain events that you need to bring your own NA drinks. You connect with another sober person there, and you kind of like vibe together. I don't know. There are just things that will happen as you start to experience life as a sober person, and you will adjust. And sometimes I find that I have a better time attending things sober than I ever did as a drinker, because you are literally like squeezing the most out of that situation. Alcohol made me tired a lot of times, so I'd want to like go home early. Also, alcohol was at the center of my brain. So let's say I'm at Mardi Gras, for example, and there's this amazing parade going on and dancers and all this wonderful stuff. Instead of sitting there and enjoying the parade and what's going on around me, my drinking self would be obsessing over, I don't have a drink right now. I don't want to lose my buzz. Where can I go? I'm going to skip this parade to go back to the house to grab myself another drink. Like, alcohol was the priority, and it genuinely took away from my life experiences. And now, as a sober person, I experience life to the fullest, and that is such a beautiful thing. You look around and you like really get to feel the feels and see things for what they are and squeeze the most out of life. I mean, you are truly living as a sober person. And sometimes I stand there and I just look around and I'm just like, oh my God, like, where am I right now? This is amazing. And you almost get like a little high. It's like you are just living life how life is supposed to be lived, and it feels really, really good. So try to look at attending things as a non-drinker as like a blessing, because you are seeing it through sober eyes, and that is really, really beautiful. So just know that if that's something you're scared of, if you're scared of attending events as a sober person, you can attend anything that you did as a drinker as a sober person if you want to. And a lot of times it will be even better than you could ever imagine. Experiencing life in sobriety is not like this horrible thing. It's not like, oh my God, I should wait till after that birthday party. I should wait till after Halloween to get sober. Like, life is good as a sober person. You don't have to be fearful of living life as a non-drinker. It's pretty amazing, and anything that you could do when you were drinking, you can do sober. Isn't that special? And I have done it all, and I'm just saying this to like encourage you. Like, things that I thought would be so hard to do as a sober person, I do them, and it like proves to myself that I can do those things, and it ticks it off my sober bucket list. And then I kind of build the skills for every future time that something like that happens. I mean, it used to be really small things, like going to a bar or taking a job interview. I know that's crazy, but like something that's very anxiety inducing, I would drink beforehand. But I've gone through that process as a non-drinker, and it's like I tick it off my bucket list. I've learned ways to manage that anxiety. I've learned breathing techniques so that I can manage those anxiety-inducing situations better moving forward. You're slowly adding all the tools to your toolbox as you experience these difficult things in sobriety, if that makes sense. Like Mardi Gras was definitely a big one for me. That's so heavily rooted in drinking culture, and I went as a sober person. I didn't have to go, but I wanted to experience Mardi Gras, and I happened to be sober, and I had an invite, to go to New Orleans for Mardi Gras, so I did it. And it was great. It was fantastic. Would I do it again? I'm not sure. And I'm going to talk about this in a later bullet point. The next bullet point, I'm going to talk about this. But I may not do it again. But I learned how to deal with those situations. I learned to leave on a high note. I learned that I might not be interested in staying at the same place as long as everyone else. I learned that, parades are so beautiful and they're better experienced sober. I learned that everyone is really hyper-fixated on alcohol and I'm not. You just learn tricks. I learned tricks that I could order at the bar. Every time that I see I discover a new sober girl beverage at the bar, I'm thrilled. I'm great. Add that to my list of things that are fun to order at the bar when I go out. So you just learn things every single time you're faced with a difficult event in sobriety. And it's only a good thing. You're just adding tools to your toolbox. So there's that. On to the next. So leading right into the next bullet point, drinkers, this is number 3, drinkers can do the same thing over and over for a long period of time without getting bored. And it's okay if you're not able to hang as the sober person. So back to the Mardi Gras example. I remember during Mardi Gras, we were kind of bar hopping. So we walked in a parade, then we watched the parades, and then we went out to the bars. And it's we started at this first bar and it was really fun, and we stayed 45 minutes to an hour, and it was really fun. It's okay, cool. Yeah, dancing, woohoo. And then we switched bars, and I'm great, keep things moving. And we get to this karaoke bar, and we stay there for quite a while. We get our camp, right? All our stuff is there. People are sat there. Our group is coming back to our area. We are there, and we're bopping in, doing the karaoke, and then not. And so we are kind of locked down at this place. And so I knew that we were going to be there for a while, and, an hour passes, and then 2 hours passes, and then, 3 hours passes. And I'm wow, are we just staying here? Is this what we're doing all night? Because it's getting late. And do you guys want to try somewhere else? I was should we go get some pizza? Change of venue? And so anyway, one thing that I noticed in my 500 days of sobriety is that drinkers can do the same thing for a really long period of time and not get bored or not get sick of it. And this is true with a bigger scale event like a bar or something like that. They were okay just staying at that one place, even though nothing was changing. It was the same environment, same people for so many hours. They were okay just staying there. But on a smaller scale, think about when we were drinkers, when I was a drinker, and I was lonely in Los Angeles. I had really no friends, no family. I was self-employed, work from home. I was lonely and bored a lot. I think that was a big contributor to my alcohol problem that I don't talk about as often. But drinking made my boring, sad life a little bit more fun. And nights where I had no plans, nothing to do, and it's 5 p.m. and I'm at home, it would make the hours of 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. a little bit more enjoyable until I passed out on the couch. Alcohol makes boring things exciting. That's why people think to drink through boring things. That's why house parties are a thing. How boring are house parties? You just stand around and do nothing. There's no activity. There's no event. Sometimes there's beer pong, okay? Sometimes there's not. And you're literally just standing around. The activity is the drinking, which is annoying. That's a whole other story. I really don't care for house parties in sobriety. But occasionally you find yourself at them for a close friend's party or whatever. But yeah, drinking makes boring things exciting. And so I've noticed when I'm around a lot of people who are drinking, they are just fine doing the same thing for a really long time. House parties, they'll just stay there. And I'm okay, are we going to go out to a bar? Are we going to change the venue? What are we doing here? I like to keep things moving, keep things interesting, and experience life. I'm not that down to just stay at the same place for hours and hours on end. So at that Mardi Gras example, I somehow, I probably should have just gone home myself. I really don't need to project my antsiness and hyperactivity upon everyone else. But in that situation, I managed to wrangle everybody else from that bar and to the pizza place a couple doors down because, like, I was hungry and I wanted to stick together. I mean, these were my friends who I was visiting. I haven't seen them in so long. And so I managed to wrangle everybody to go to the pizza place. It was like 30 people. Looking back, probably didn't need to do that. Could have just gone on my own side quest. But I'm in New Orleans alone, so, it's like you start bringing one person and then more people want to come and then you have to just get everybody. So anyway, I managed to wrangle everybody and we went to the next place. But I wonder to myself how long they would have just stayed at that same bar, probably until it closed at 2 a.m., which would have been like 6 hours of hanging out there. I don't think they would have ever gotten bored at that place, which is fine. I mean, when I was drinking, I probably would have liked to stay at one place too. It's just easier. You know what you're ordering, you know where your stuff's at, you know what the vibe is. Like, why not just stay there and drink there? It doesn't really matter as long as alcohol is involved, right? But as a sober person, when alcohol is not at the center of your universe, you kind of want to keep things moving, keep things exciting. And I was like, I'm in New Orleans. Let's do something, So just something that I've noticed. Drinkers are okay doing the same thing for a long period of time, and it's okay if you're not on that same page, if you want to keep things moving. Just leave on a high note. You don't want to leave when you've been at that bar for 4 or 5 hours and you're like, I am so sick of this, get me out of here. You want to leave when you still have a good taste in your mouth. You're like, this was really fun, but like, I'm going to move on. So leave on a high note and just recognize that you might not be able to hang at the same places for as long as them, and that's okay. It's totally okay. Just listen to yourself, know yourself, and move on if you need to. Number 4, and I feel like this is random and maybe not that common. I don't know. My drunk radar has gone down, which is weird because you'd think that as a sober person, I would be like so able to tell when somebody has been drinking. And I can smell it. Like my smeller has gotten better, I guess. My smell detector has gotten better. I can smell, especially tequila. I can smell, because I hated tequila, even as a drinker. Like, I would do anything in this world to avoid drinking tequila unless it was an emergency and nothing else was available. But I can smell alcohol on other people. But what I cannot do is detect when somebody is drunk. Like, somebody will say, oh my God, he's so drunk or whatever. And I'm like, he is? Which is weird because, I don't know. As a sober person, you should be able to really easily detect when somebody is drunk. But here I am as a sober person, out at the bars, still dancing, still being goofy, still having a fun time. And so it's almost like I assume that other people can be sober and dancing and having a good time. And so I don't, actually, this is a good thing in sobriety. I don't immediately correlate having fun and being silly and dancing with being drunk. Because I know in my heart that sober people can also dance and have a good time. And even people who are having like just a couple drinks or something can dance and have a good time. Like, I know that you don't have to be blackout wasted to be silly and goofy and dancing. And so I don't immediately correlate somebody being fun with their wasted. And that's kind of something that I enjoy in sobriety, is that people know that I'm sober and they see me still on the dance floor having a great time. And when I was a drinker, I feel like people would just say, oh my God, she's drunk. Like, she's so wasted. That's why she's dancing. That's why she's being fun. But I knew even as a drinker that I had that fun spirit inside me. I didn't need any alcohol to have, well, back then I couldn't imagine life without alcohol, but I knew that I was a fun spirit on the inside. And I was enhancing my time with alcohol. But it wasn't like the alcohol was making me crazy. Like, I'm already a fun, crazy person as is. And so in sobriety, it's kind of fun that everybody knows I'm not drinking and they still see me having a good time and they're not questioning if I'm like drunk or something. So Anyway, because of that, because I still have a good time as a sober person, I don't immediately assume that because somebody's being crazy and having fun that they are drunk. And so I don't see it. I don't detect it as much if somebody is wasted. Yeah, my drunk radar has so gone down. People will say, "Oh my God, I'm wasted. I got to go home." I'm like, "You are?" I don't notice as much, which is concerning, I guess. Or not concerning, but it's just weird that I can't detect it. You would think that when I'm sober, I can so instantly tell when somebody has been drinking, but it's just not the case. It's almost like I've been going through life as a sober person for so long that I just like assume that everyone is sober. I assume that everyone is seeing the world how I see the world through sober eyes. And it's weird to think that people are drinking. I don't know. It's hard to describe. And I feel like most sober people can tell even better when people have been drinking. But for me, maybe I'm just oblivious, but I just assume that everyone's not drinking. It's so weird. I assume that everyone is on the same level as me. I think it's the same as when you're drinking. When you're a drinker, you kind of assume that everyone's on the same level as you, even the sober people. And as a sober person, I think that everybody's on the same level as me. So I'm surprised when I find out that people are like really drunk. Or I also don't see the progression. Like when somebody gets really drunk and they're throwing up or whatever, I didn't see that progression. Like I thought they were fine the entire time and then they're throwing up. I'm like, wait, what? I wasn't aware. So I don't know. It's so weird. Tell me if you're the same in the comments, because I feel like I'm a little bit alone in this, but I think I'm just like oblivious and so used to sober life that I just can't see people's drunkenness. I don't know. It's weird. Okay, number 5. I'll try to keep this short because I feel like this almost needs a whole episode itself. But my ADHD symptoms are still very prevalent. And I talk about how I've developed a lot of strategies to deal with my ADHD. Undiagnosed ADHD, by the way, I always have to throw that out there. I have not gotten a diagnosis. And for a long time, I kind of felt like I didn't need one, because why do I need somebody to tell me that, yes, you do have what you think you have? Like, for a long time, I thought I didn't need the confirmation. Like, I'm good. But my ADHD symptoms are, I'm not going to say getting worse, because I think there's things in my environment that are causing them to get worse, but I'm struggling a little bit with it recently. And I used to drink alcohol to numb my ADHD symptoms. It was a main reason that I drank in the way that I did. And getting drunk was not a goal of mine most of the time, unless I was like going out or something. But my goal was to maintain a 2-beer buzz pretty much all day from morning until night. That's why I drank beer, wine, and seltzers, because it was a controllable buzz that I could maintain literally all day long. And I felt like I needed alcohol to just function in the world as a normal human being, because my ADHD was so rampant that without alcohol, how was I going to function? And so when you stop drinking, the ADHD gets a lot worse, but that's to be expected. And so if you're trying to get sober, just understand that they're going to get worse before they get better. And I knew that going into it because I had done a lot of research. So I said, okay, my mind's going to be going at 100 miles an hour. Things are going to be really difficult, but I'm just going to understand ahead of time that will be the case and try not to stress about it and just get through that time. So early sobriety, the ADHD symptoms get way worse. Okay. But then after a while in sobriety, the ADHD symptoms get better, because when you're drinking alcohol all the time, your body relies on it. And so it's like you're Band-Aid fixing the ADHD symptoms, but your symptoms get worse in the end, which is crazy and scary. So drinking is not a healthy way to mask your ADHD symptoms. It only works in the temporary, and you're actually doing more damage than you are doing help. So after months and months of sobriety, over a year of sobriety, I've developed a lot of good coping strategies. If you haven't listened to my ADHD episodes that I have on this podcast, feel free to go back and listen. They're some of my favorite episodes, and they're some of the most listened to episodes, because so many drinkers deal with ADHD symptoms, and really it's more the other way around. So many people with ADHD struggle with alcohol because they drink to cope with the symptoms. So listen to those episodes if you haven't. But I've learned a lot of coping strategies, like just ways to organize my makeup table or my bathroom, ways to deal with laundry, ways to write to-do lists, ways to prioritize tasks. I've just learned a lot. One thing that I recently did was I put a phone mount in my shower because personal hygiene is a struggle with ADHD. And it's one of the embarrassing sides to it. Like, I'm not proud to share that it's a struggle for me to get in the shower or a struggle for me to brush my teeth. But it is. It's one of the things I hate doing. There's no dopamine attached to it. It's not an exciting experience. So it's not something that I look forward to. It's something, it's boring. I'm not able to be productive while I'm in there. So I've put the phone mount in my shower, waterproof phone mount from Amazon, so that I can look forward to watching my show. And that would like get me more excited about going in the shower. Like, at least while I'm in there washing my body, I get to watch my show. It's like, I kind of say to myself, if you're going to watch TV, you may as well go take a shower. It helps me associate a shower with a positive experience, like doing something that I enjoy. So that, and then also this is so crazy. I sound like a crazy person, but I've also put a mount in my bathroom sink because I'm trying to be better about my dental health. Like, brushing once a day was literally the goal for me for a while. And I know that sounds crazy, and it makes me want to freaking cry. Talking about like my struggle with personal hygiene, it's so embarrassing. It's so freaking embarrassing. But it's like one of the most prevalent ADHD symptoms that I deal with. It's just like not wanting to do these tasks for personal hygiene. And I need to do these tasks, and I have to like force myself. It's so hard to get myself to do these things. It's so annoying. So I'll do whatever I can. I have a phone mount at my makeup table too. So I have a phone mount in my shower, on my bathroom sink, and on my makeup table, just so that I'll actually do the things that I need to do for myself, which is crazy. I listen to a podcast while I do the dishes. I try to make unenjoyable tasks more enjoyable. And unfortunately, personal hygiene is really unenjoyable for me. So anyway, I put a phone mount in my bathroom sink too, because I'm trying to brush twice a day and then also implement flossing into my routine. This has been a slow process, so it's like just try to brush my teeth once a day. I used to keep little, no water required little toothbrusher things by my bedside table so that I would at least just scrub them before I go to sleep. Like, that's how bad it was, guys. So I got a pack of those little scrubber things off Amazon, and I would just get into bed and at least like be able to do one of those before I fall asleep. So that was me trying my best. And then it was like, okay, I'm brushing for sure once a day. And then I was trying to brush twice a day, morning and night. Yippee. I'm like doing that, which is really cool. Watching TV while I do that is really helpful. But now I'm implementing flossing, which I'm really, really proud of myself for. I know it's such a small task, and if you don't have ADHD, you're probably like laughing in my face right now. But flossing was like no brainer. Obviously, I'm never going to do that. Like, what a waste of time. And now I get to watch my show while I floss. And I take my time because I'm getting to watch my show. It's like, if I'm going to watch TV, I may as well be doing something. And so I've been flossing while I watch my show. And I have a bracket on my bottom teeth, and I even like use the threader and get the floss in there and get between every single tooth, even though it's difficult and annoying and something that I haven't really ever done. I'm implementing that into my routine. I started with trying to do once a week, and now I'm trying to do like every other day, basically, which is really good for me because I get to watch my show while I do it, which is exciting to me. So anyway, I should probably make a whole episode on ADHD because, like I said, I mean, I have made multiple episodes, but I should do a refreshed one because I've been struggling recently. But also I've been doing well recently. Like, look at that. I've been able to do these things that I consider hard in my mind. I've been able to do them through finding little tricks. And I know, like, having to mount a freaking TV basically everywhere that you do anything is not great. But, you know, for this time in my life, I live alone. I find it enjoyable to get tasks done when I get to watch my show. So for me, it works. But what I wanted to say in this bullet is that ADHD doesn't just go away when you quit drinking. And I kind of feel bad that I've talked so much about how my ADHD symptoms have gotten better in sobriety, because I've learned these tips and these tricks for dealing with the ADHD, which is true. I have. But they're still there. And they're bad. And I actually think that my ADHD is part of the reason I lost my job. The tasks that I struggled with at my job were directly linked with tasks that are difficult for people with ADHD. It was the spreadsheets and managing my emails and entering data, like these tedious tasks, these overwhelmingly tedious tasks would be the things that I can't complete. And when I got laid off, my email inbox was over 1,700 unread emails. And I know what you're thinking, that's insane. But just to put it into perspective, one time I said the emails are so crazy, I'm going to count how many emails I get before 11 a.m. And I log on to work at 8 a.m., okay? So I sit down for work at 8 a.m., and by 11 a.m., I had 82 emails. 82. That's how many emails I was receiving at this company, which is insane, because I'm, like, copied on everything. I'm on these aliases. Like, the emails were insane. And then we get codes for CapCut and TikTok Shop and all these different things. I had 82 emails over 3 hours, which is nuts. And what I would do is I would try to delete the unimportant ones and then leave the ones that I needed to get to unread so that I would hopefully, like, come back to them. But then I would never come back to them because I would forget and move on and not prioritize emails when I had so much other work to be doing. So I had 1,700 unread emails when I got laid off, which is really embarrassing. And they're probably thinking to themselves, wow, we made the right choice with this one. Like, this girl freaking sucks. And we did these reports every month, which is entering the data, analyzing the stats of the social media accounts of these brands. And I have to enter data. It's very tedious, and I would get so distracted while doing those monthly reports. And it would take me days to do them when it took this other girl like 3 hours. It would take me all day. Which, yeah, it's like, okay, it makes sense why I got laid off, right? But I truly believe that the things that I struggled with at that job were things that people with ADHD are, like, not designed to frickin' do. All the creative stuff I was great at. All the video creation, working with influencers, like, outreach. There are things that I was really, really good at this job. Content creation is a really big strength of mine, and I was good at it. I really grew these brands, and I helped a lot with their success on social media. I was good at that portion of my job, but there are these, like, heavy analytical, data-driven sides to social media management. That was my career, that I was just really, really bad at. So I believe that my freaking ADHD is part of the reason I lost my job. And then since I've been laid off and I have no structure anymore, the ADHD symptoms are through the roof. It's really bad, and I have got to get a grip. So I'm attempting to work for myself and just be an entrepreneur, content creator. Like, that's what I'm planning to do. And I'm giving myself a few months to give that a go and, like, really give it a good try. And I have got to get some more structure in my life. to be able to maintain that lifestyle because I'm struggling right now. It was like when I had a job, my life was so unbearably busy because I was essentially working 2 full-time jobs. I mean, it was crazy. I had no free time whatsoever. I would work on my own stuff before my real job. Then I would do my real job from 8 to 5. Then I would work on my own projects after work, not to mention having a social life or working out or anything. It was really, really hard. And I had 0 free time. And now I have free time. I do my own work from, 8 to 5 or whatever. And then I have a free time after that. But I find myself during the day, like watching a show or finding myself like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? And to-do lists have really, really helped with this. Like I write down my day very specifically, like 8 to 8:10, I'm doing this. Then 8:10 to 8:15, I'm doing this. Then 8:15 to 8:30, I'm doing this. Like I really try to break it down, and that's been helping a lot. But I do think I need some structure in my life, and it's something I need to work on. So anyways, in 500 days of sobriety, I have learned that sobriety is not like the cure for mental health issues. If you're having ADHD problems, depression, anxiety, whatever, sobriety is not going to cure those, okay? It might make them worse in the beginning and then better in the end, but it's not going to go away. And so I'm wondering, in addition to seeking more structure in my life, I'm wondering if a diagnosis would help me, if going to therapy to learn more strategies would help me, if medication would help me. I'm really not wanting to go on medication. It's just something, I live a very clean, healthy lifestyle, and I don't want to take medication. I don't want to have to rely on something to exist in this world, because I used to rely on alcohol. Alcohol was my medication. It was my vice. I needed it to survive. Or that's what I thought at the time. And I don't want to feel like I need my ADHD medications to survive. I want to be able to embrace the person that I am and all my quirks and live life as is and just learn to deal with some parts that are difficult. I don't want to medicate and numb the qualities that I have that are difficult. I just want to learn to face them. So I don't really know what the next step is, but for the purpose of this episode, what I'm saying is that what I've learned in 500 days is that sobriety doesn't cure your mental health issues. Those still need to be addressed, and you can address those with medication, with therapy, with working on yourself, with reading books, doing self-help and working on the things that you struggle with. But they do still need to be addressed. They can't just go away. And now that we don't have our coping mechanism of drinking, other options may need to be explored. And that's kind of what I'm realizing. Even now at 500 days, I'm just realizing hey, this might be something I need to explore a little deeper. So that's my final bullet. Sorry to get emotional. It's been a little bit hard on me recently, and I just need to do some work. I'll keep you guys in the loop of what I decide to do and how I bring some structure into my life. I really don't think I'll go on medication, but if I end up doing that, I'll obviously keep you in the loop with my journey there. It's just been an interesting revelation that I've had this deep into my sobriety. So thank you for listening to today's episode. Happy 500 days. Woohoo! And happy whatever day you're on. If you are sober curious, if you are recently sober, I'm proud of you. Good job. You're on the right path. It's always the right decision to get sober. Even if things are still difficult, you are becoming the best version of yourself. Note to self, I'm telling myself this too. Sobriety is still the answer, even though certain parts are difficult. Sobriety is still the answer, and it's leading us towards our best selves. So thanks for listening. I'll see you for the next episode. Bye.